One of the most common conditions we see here in our clinic is shoulder impingement. Shoulder impingement, it is a condition of the rotator cuff muscles around the shoulder, and we'll get into that more here in a minute. But first I want to talk about some of the causes of shoulder impingement. One of the most common causes is trauma. This can be due to a fall or a sports-related injury. One of the other most common causes is repetitive stress over time or arthritis, and it can even be caused by repetitive overhead activities. Now, when someone suffers from impingement, essentially what happens is there's been damage to the tendons in the rotator cuff. And when there's damage to the tendons, they essentially get impinged because of the swelling and inflammation, and it causes pain. That pain can be localized around the shoulder, and it can even travel down into the arm or up into the neck in some cases. Now, what we're looking at here in the model, this is the back of a shoulder blade. This is your arm bone right here. Now, the muscles, they kind of wrap across the shoulder blade and around to the arm. So there's a couple different areas that are more common to be affected in shoulder impingement. One is right here. As these muscles come across, you'll see a representation of this right here. This would actually be where the tendon wraps around. The other most common area, especially in cases of arthritis, is with the supraspinatus tendon, which sits right on top of the spine of the scapula, and it goes underneath this area. And I don't know how much you can see that on video, but this is where the acromion part of your shoulder blade attaches to the back part of your clavicle here, and it creates this little tunnel where that tendon travels through before it wraps around and attaches on the arm. So if there's any problems in this joint here, it can directly put pressure on top of that tendon of one of the rotator cuff muscles. So the good news is that with shoulder impingement, only about 10% of cases require surgery. That means about 90% of cases can be treated conservatively. So the most important thing is to do a proper assessment to make an accurate diagnosis, because there are a lot of other conditions of the rotator cuff that may seem like impingement but aren't impingement. Once we've made that accurate diagnosis that it is in fact shoulder impingement, then we can develop a treatment protocol to address all of the different components. It usually involves mobilization of the joints that are affected, massage or other muscle manual therapies around the muscles that are affected, and even employing some high-tech devices like cold laser or pressure wave, or techniques like dry needling, everything with the intention of loosening up that pressure on the muscle, which then in turn relieves the pressure on the tendon, which allows it to heal over time. If you have any questions or you want us to evaluate your shoulder, please give us a call as quickly as you can.